When I first started this video, the tangle was unnamed, but it now has a name, and its name is Bray-slet. And I want to thank Shauna Buckham for coming up with that name. Today, I'm going to show you how I created this tangle. So far, it doesn't have a name. I've tried several different names. If you have any suggestions for names for this tangle, please leave them in the comments. So here's the tangle, as yet unnamed. And here it is again, where I actually used it, changed it a little bit, but used it in combination with a couple of other tangles. This one, I love this tangle. I think it's a kibo, and then henna drum, some fescue, and some flux. Very simple tangles. And so then in the tangle that I did, you can see it's a little bit different than this one, because instead of using lines on the top, I came back in and put orbs and added some color to them to give them a gem-like appearance. The whole tangle itself looks like little ladies dancing, maybe a chorus line dancing. But anyway, so let's get started. We're going to start with just this one. It's really very simple. Again, I will be using my Micron 01 pen, pencil for shading, maybe my gold jelly roll pen, not sure, but I'm going to pull it out here just in case. I'm also going to have an 08 white jelly roll pen. I'm not saying that I'm going to use all these, but if I think there's a chance I might going to use one, I like to have it handy just in case I decide I do want to use it. Okay, so to get started with this tangle, I'm going to make some little orbs. I want to try to keep them the same distance apart. I am not using a ruler, guys. I can kind of measure with my fingers though. And I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mine are all kind of running uphill right now. Then I want to come down underneath. I may have to grab another 01 pen. This one's acting up. All right. Now in the center here, I'm going to put my first orb. Then I'm going to skip the next one. I'll put an orb in this one. Skip this one, put an orb in this one. So now we have kind of a grid pattern. Next thing, I'm going to connect the center orb to the outside orb with just kind of a small petal shape. Yep, this pen's not wanting to behave itself. I'll grab this pen and see if it's going to be any better. Not much. All right, so this gives me my first set. To me, they look rather like little windmills at this point, and not so much like the little flowers that they're going to become later. Okay, sorry about that. I should have double checked this pen. All right, edit that out. So now, I'm going to connect these lines with straight lines. Missed one. Missed one. There we go. All right. Next step, I'm going to make an arc from the top of this one to this one. And the same arc. I do want to try to keep the arcs the same height. They're a little bit off. It's not going to be a big deal, but I want to try to keep them the same height. All right. Now I do need to turn this so I can get it better. Remember, you're going to end up, whenever you end up doing this, you always end up turning your paper. Tanglers are also twirlers. We twirl while we tangle, or we tangle while we twirl. Now, that's not as good. All right. And I got off camera. Now I'm going to make an aura. Turn it around. Make another aura. Remember, this is not about being perfect, people. This is about enjoyment, about gratitude, about being in the moment. That one got way too thin on the end. But again, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, next step, I'm going to come back into where my little flower shapes are, and I'm going to aura around them. And this is going to make them look a little bit more like a flower. So we have that first part done. Then I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to put a little line coming from the center orb up into the top there. There we go. Next step is I'm going to come back on these, and I'm going to put in little stripes. Again, this just gives some texture. This is where I was a little too thin. I can try and fill it in a little. There we go. That looks all right. Do the same thing on the bottom. needs to come down all the way down. There we go. All right. Next step, we're going to draw across from this orb to this orb, this orb to this orb, and this orb to this orb. Now, we're going to come back and we're going to aura inside. And notice that when I do that one, I'm going to curve it. And I'm going to curve this one because it's an aura. Now that is the very basic tangle. As you can see with this one, I came back and in here, I filled in with lines. That gives it texture. I also shaded in these orbs, dark. So I'll have some dark contrast because we like to have dark against light. It adds contrast and value. I also shaded it. When I did well, when I did this one, you can see that I kept the lines here, but I added orbs here, 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 and here. And I made them coordinate with the center ones. The other thing that you'll see is that I'm going to make some more, this is another variation, with using some little tipple dots to go around my thing. And I added another petal on the flower. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to come back up and I'm going to add another petal. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. You can stick with those. But I kind of like adding this other petal. It makes our flower kind of lopsided in a way because this petal's going to be longer. I'm going to aura around it. Doop. Doop. Yeah. Now put its little line in, 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 put its little line in. Now, on my variation, what I also like to do, I'm going to come back, and the second little one where I ordered it, I'm just going to put little tipples, little orbs. Give it some texture. Make it a little more interesting to look at. Here we go. Do the same thing here. reason I didn't put that long skinny leaf in first was to show you the difference, because you can put it in or leave it out. That's the thing about tangling. Whoops, forgot on this one. Okay. You can take somebody's tangle and adorn it, embellish it, make it yours. Whatever makes your heart happy. Whatever fills you with the gratitude that you are able to spend some time relaxing, not worrying about anything, just enjoying the ink on the paper. Oops. Sometimes when you're doing that, you see something that you forgot. So I think I'm going to leave that one like that. Now, on these centers, the X shapes, I am going to come back and on these little sideways triangles, put some horizontal striping. Again, gives texture. Also, if you get these close together, it makes it looks a little bit darker. I appreciate it if you are enjoying these videos, if you'd leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I don't post a whole lot. You can turn off the notification button if you want to. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Zentangling for Fun and Relaxation. Have a group on there. And sometimes I post a little extra videos. All right, now inside here, I'm going to make my orbs. I kind of make them fit, kind of big. That one. Notice we call them orbs because they're not going to be perfectly round. Don't even worry about that. Just get an orb in there. Okay. There we go. Now, this is the basic one. There are several things that we can do at this point. I didn't really plan on spending time on doing gems, but what I am going to do is take my gold jelly roll pen and I'm going to do the center. I don't know how this is going to show up on camera. Yeah. I'm going to do these little orbs. Okay. Oops, that's two. That's two. I'm not sure it's showing up too well on the camera. Now, I'm going to try to do something. Not in there. A little different. Remember the other day when I was talking about using watercolor with your ink? And I said you got to make sure everything's really, really dry or you're going to have a bleeding mess. Well, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about on the bleeding mess. Okay? And hopefully, this is gonna work. This is unedited, and I'm hoping I'm not going to have to start it over, but sometimes we want it to bleed. So I'm gonna grab a Jelly Roll pen. Here's my Jelly Rolls. And I think I will go, what do we think? Blue, turquoise blue, or this is purple? Let's see what we think will look prettiest. I think I'll go with purple. For one thing, purple and gold, this is the purple. Purple and gold are complements. Although that blue is awfully pretty. Oops, missed here. Seems like no matter what I do, I always have something that I go back and look at and go, oops, you missed. Purple or blue, purple or blue. Yeah, I'm gonna do the purple. So I'm gonna come around here, put this in around the bottom. Take a paintbrush, just a little bit of water on it. Maybe that was too much. And I'm gonna move that around. Yeah. Do the same thing over here. Take a fine paintbrush. Mine's a little bit too thick. Just barely damp. And you can move that paint around. Same thing over here. And really and truly, you want it very, just barely damp. You get it too wet, and this thing's gonna go all kind of wonkers on you. Okay. And there we go. Now, just for the fun of it, I'm gonna come back, add a little bit of blue. Just a little bit. Not sure I'm gonna like it, but there we go. Add a little bit of blue and blend it in. Blue and purple are complementary colors, so because purple is made from blue. Blue is part of the component of purple. If you've learned your color theory, or you learned how to mix colors when you were in kindergarten. There we go. I like that even better. Now, one last thing. I'm going to take my 08 white Jelly Roll pen. Nope. I'm going to have to wait for that to dry. But once it does dry, I'll come back in and I'll show you on this one now that it's dry. I'll come back in and I'm going to put a little highlight. I have to go buy some more Jelly Rolls. These are not doing too well. I think they're running out. But if the Jelly Roll runs out, I can always grab my silver Jelly Roll and try putting in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for that to dry and put my highlight in.
Again, I'd put just a little white highlight right here. I might be able to do it with a little piece of white chalk. Yeah. There. Get the edge of that white chalk. Or your little white charcoal pencil. The white charcoal pencil comes in handy. Yeah. Maybe a little reflected right down here. There we go. And that is that basic tangle, which is no name. Again, if you think you have a good name for it, I would love to hear it. There are other things you can do to fancy it up. I could come back and color in every other one of these. I can put tipples. I can add shading. I haven't added any shading on that one. And this one again, Cinnamon. Here's another one that I did. Same one, but this time I didn't put the orbs in. I used the straight lines for it. Coming across the top, I added orbs. Down here on the bottom, I added some flux. I don't really know what this shape is called. Sorry. And these again are half drums, henna drums, sorry. Henna drum, more flux, some fescue, and this one is called Muka. This one, Muka, flux, fescue, are all original Zentangles from Rick and Maria. And to be honest with you, I should know who did henna drum, but I'm gonna have to apologize and say I don't know who did that one. But anyway, so one version, second version, you can decide which one you like best. And the two, put this one over here, the two originals. This one with just lines, this one with the third petal, and orbs. So variations, basic and a little bit fancier, a little bit more variation. Again, if you enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and leave me a comment, particularly if you think you have a good name for this tangle, because I've played with several of them, and I don't want it really long. Someone suggested the Queen's Bracelet. I think that's a little long. Someone else said Dancing Ladies, but I think that would fit more with this total drawing. And when I take this out, I'm not so sure Dancing Ladies is, I don't see it. So if you can come up with a name just for this tangle, or any idea that you can fly by me. Someone else suggested eye gems, or just gems. I don't know. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll give it a try. If you give it a try, please post it on my Zentangling for Fun and Relaxation group, because I'd love to see your work. Thank you. Have a great time tangling, and I'll see you again soon.